Hello, kindergarten. Today I found a nonfiction book called Who Needs Bees? And I thought this would be a great book to help us to continue to learn, why do we need insects? Why are they such an important part of our ecosystem? And this book, it starts off, the title is a question. Who needs bees? Do we need bees? I hope you would say, yes, we need bees. So let's find out why. Who needs bees? Many people call bees pests. And a lot of people, when they're flying around, swat at them. And I think the most important thing to learn about bees is don't swat at them. Let them be. And if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone because they're out doing their jobs and they have a lot of jobs. So they're not pests. Did you ever think to call them farmers? That's silly. Well, you should. 1 out of every 3 foods you eat was farmed by bees. Wow, that's a really important fact. So not only do bees make honey and pollinate flowers, they also help farm many of the foods you eat. Without bees, there would be a lot less of the foods that you love to eat. So look at all these foods: fruits, vegetables. There wouldn't be much chocolate, and there would be no almonds or nuts at all. So they even help farm chocolate and nuts. This is because bees act like farmers. Their work helps plants make the food we eat. And you're probably wondering how. Well, let's read on to find out. This is a seedling. This seedling is a baby apple tree. It needs lots of sun, water, and food to grow. This seedling won't grow into a big apple tree this year. It can take 5 to 8 years for one apple tree to grow big enough to finally make apples. And this is the apple tree life cycle. Everything has a life cycle. So if you take an apple, inside you'll find seeds. And I'm sure you've all seen the seeds inside an apple. And if you take those seeds and plant them, it will grow into an apple tree, but not in one day, not in 1 year, 5 to 8 years. So it'll grow into this seedling, and then the seedling will grow into a small tree, and eventually a big tree, and the tree will go through the life cycle to finally make apples. Adult trees make tiny buds, and in the spring, the buds open and the apple tree is covered with lots of small flowers. And most trees do grow some type of flower, and an apple tree grows pretty white flowers. So here's where the bee comes in. This is pollen. Pollen looks like yellow dust, and each flower makes pollen. So to make apples, a tree needs pollen from other apple trees. So how does that happen? How is this tree going to get pollen from this tree? How can the pollen get from tree to tree? I bet you know the answer. Bees move the pollen from tree to tree. Here's how it happens. The bee has lots of tiny hairs on its body. The hairy bee lands on the flower to get nectar. Lots of pollen sticks to the bee's hair. So here they are working together. He's getting the nectar to take back to make honey. but he's also helping the tree because he's taking the pollen and he's going to spread it to another tree. And here it is. The bee flies from tree to tree and gets covered with pollen from lots of flowers from lots of trees. The flowers are ready to capture the pollen they need. And inside the flower, there's special parts. All flowers have pistils. The pistil is a small tube that sticks up from the middle of the flower. The pistil is sticky at the top. When the bee lands on the sticky pistil, some of the pollen gets stuck to it. And there's an awesome picture of the bee getting the nectar, but at the same time, the pollen that's stuck to his hair is now going to stick to this pistil. And the pistil is these long things sticking up in the middle of the flower. A tube grows out of each piece of pollen. The tubes all race to the bottom of the pistil. The first pollen tube to reach the bottom starts a new apple and one egg. So it actually goes down the tube and makes eggs inside the flower. As the egg grows, the petals fall off of the flowers. You can see some of them are even pretty pink flowers, and pretty soon the flowers are going to die and the petals are going to fall off. And then what grows in place of the flower? What do you think? When the flower disappears, what's going to be there in its place? Tiny apples. And you can see there where the flowers used to be. Now there's tiny apples beginning to grow. So if the process works and the bee does his job, now tiny apples begin to grow. The apples grow all summer. They need sunlight, food, and water. Here they are. So look at all the apples. So wherever there was a flower, now there's an apple. And then when fall comes, they are ripe and they are ready to be picked and eaten. And that's when apples are ready in the fall. Bees help plants grow all around the world. And this is an important page because it shows you a map and it shows you that bees just don't work or help plants just around Olean. They grow all around the world, bees work, because some of the foods that we eat don't grow in Olean. We get them from other parts of the world. All right, so this is going to show us where some of the other plants grow. So in Brazil, way down here, bees help Brazil nuts grow from trees. And way up here in Norway, bees grow berries. So many of our berries come from Norway, although we do grow some berries around here. And then in China, bees help tomatoes grow. And in Kenya, way down here, bees help grow cucumbers. So bees are busy all around the world. So the next time you see some bees buzzing around, just let them work. They're farming for you. All right, so what did we learn? There's one of our W words right in our title. And remember we talked last time about after you read to ask yourself these 5 W's. What did I learn? What was my book mostly about? And see if you can remember 3 facts. Who is my book mostly about? Where did it happen? When did it happen? And why did the author write this book? Why? What was the lesson I learned? Okay? So this summer, I'm hoping you remember to ask yourself these 5 W's every time you read. So here's our graphic organizer for today, and in the middle I put our title, the question it asks us, who needs bees? Bees are just like farmers. That's what our book taught us. They're just like farmers. They help grow fruits. They help grow vegetables. They help grow nuts. Did you know nuts grow on trees? And they even help grow chocolate, because where does chocolate come from? Yeah, it comes from cocoa beans, and cocoa beans grow on trees. And bees help pollinate the flowers on the trees. So all of these foods, most of them grow on trees, some grow in the ground, but they all have flowers on them when they grow, okay? Even cucumbers have a flower on their vine, all right? And so the bees all land on the flowers that are all on these trees or on the plants, and they spread the pollen, and then wherever the flowers are, when the flowers die, the flower turns into the fruit or the vegetable or whatever it's growing. And an important part of the book was that bees pollinate all over the world. And that's an important part to remember, because many of our fruits and vegetables are shipped on trucks from all over the world to our grocery stores where we can go and buy them. So bees are a very important insect. So next time you see them buzzing around, they're doing their jobs. So attached to this lesson, if you can print it off, that's great. If not, just get a plain piece of paper and write the question. Why do we need insects? And that's what we've been learning about all this week. Why do we need insects? Why are they important? So you think about an insect. Why do we need it? And answer the question. I started it for you. We need, and then you're going to fill in the blank with an insect. And then give us your reason why. Because, and then tell us, why do we need that insect? And then there's a place down at the bottom for you to draw a picture to go along with your sentence. So take a picture of this, send it to your teacher. We love to see what you've been learning about why we need insects. So this is it, boys and girls. I hope you have enjoyed entomology. I think it's official. I think we can finally say, you are an entomologist. You know a lot of things about insects. So enjoy your summer. Next time you see those insects flying around outside this summer when you're out playing, think about why we need them. Why are they so important? What do you think they're doing outside? Enjoy your summer, and we'll see you soon.